Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. So this is going to be a little bit of a departure from what you're used to. This is not about vehicles or anything like that, but I wanted to talk about electric propulsion, if you will. Back in the days when I worked at BMW, they had the i3, those came out in around 2012 or so, and we drove them around the track, and it was this kooky little clown car. But it's actually a really cool little car. It's not a hybrid, it's a true electric, but some of them actually have a little generator in the back that can charge the engine itself. Since then, we've actually picked up a Tesla. We've actually had it for about 2 years now. And guys, these things are phenomenal. Not only the speed, now regardless of whether you want the soul of the engine and all that, I get it. Trust me, if anyone gets it, I get it. But for my type of lifestyle, my wife's lifestyle, this actually works really well for us. Now, we live out in the middle of nowhere. And people say, well, what do you do if you run out of power? We're not homesteaders or anything like that, but we do have generator power. We can run for 30 days without city power. We've got solar panels and things like that. But this video is actually about an electric bicycle, because when I was traveling overseas about 3-4 months ago in Spain and Switzerland and Dubai, I was seeing all these electric bicycles. And it kind of intrigued me. I grew up doing mountain biking racing from the early days, back when Bontrager and Gary Fisher and those guys were doing it. And I still have some mountain bikes. And I live in like the mountain biking mecca. I mean, we have like 400 miles of single track around here. And no, this wouldn't be the right tool for the job, but the company Mokwheel reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do this review because they were coming out with a camo pattern model. If you don't know much about electric bikes, you definitely want to stick around for this because it's really cool. It's not $5,000 or $6,000 like the Specialized from a couple years ago. You can get this bike for less than $2,000. It comes with a solar array. And it gives you the ability to actually get to places very quietly, very efficiently, that you wouldn't be able to normally do without getting kind of winded. So if you're a big hunter or anything like that, this is going to be a kind of a weird review. I've never seen a review like this on Mokwheel for anybody that's reviewed one of these bicycles, because the reason that I got this was to be able to take it off-road, to be able to go to places quieter than you could with a normal mountain bike. Actually, during the Gap grind, I had actually called them and asked them if I could use this to be able to get around, because this thing has a 450-pound weight capacity. You can put a Copeland hard case on here. The only reason I didn't do it is I couldn't find a Copeland hard case that was big enough to fit a true PRS rifle. So if you're somewhat interested, stick around. If not, I'll see you on the next video. So stick around for the Mokwheel Basalt review. All right, so this is not going to be one of those reviews where I'm reading down a spec sheet or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you the important things, what I like and what I don't like about the bicycle. Okay, so first and foremost, this is not a lightweight. This bicycle behind me weighs 80 pounds. So if it's one of those that you're interested in getting, make sure that you can physically lift the bike, or that you have a bike rack that is actually capable of handling the weight of the bicycle itself. So it's not one of those you're just going to move around and kick around. Part of that is because of the large battery. Now, there's a large battery contained within the frame here. And guys, remember, you can ride about 60 to 80 miles on one charge. But remember, if you've got to push it, you're pushing an 80-pound bicycle. I've had this for quite a few months. As a matter of fact, the folks at Mokwheel are probably a little upset with me, but I've done everything from leave this thing out in the rain. I've not treated it well. I've actually just cleaned it just to make it a little bit better for the camera appearance, but there's been no issues with it. A little bit of squeak on the brakes. It does have hydraulic disc brakes, but that's normal with most bicycles. You remember back in the day, at least we don't have the squeaky caliper brakes. One of the reasons I wanted to review this is because it does have an available power inverter. So I can actually use this battery, plug it in, and I can do everything from run a coffee maker to charge a laptop, to charge my phone, whatever. So if you're on a camping trip or something like that, especially with the 450-pound weight capacity, it does make it pretty nice. It does have these large 26 by 4-inch tires. They soak up a lot of the bumps, the roots, things like that. You can actually take this off-road. It's pretty capable. Believe it or not, the next week or so, I'm actually going to put a Fox shock on here with a different front tire. It's going to kind of be a little project, and I don't know if I'll include you guys on it unless you guys want it or not. But basically, I ordered the solar array for it. So with this solar array, you can actually charge this battery at a campsite. Now, it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be fast. But having the ability to have the inverter to be able to power things, I know people were actually like powering blenders and things like that with these things, it does make it pretty unique. As far as the drivetrain, it's got Shimano tourney derailleur on here. I mean, you're not looking at high end. You're not looking at like XTR or anything like that. It is a 7-speed and that's it, but remember, you're gonna have the pedal assist with the actual battery power. Now, guys, this thing will run 30 miles an hour. And I can thumb throttle it, and for thumb throttle, 27. That's 28 with no pedaling. Now, I know that in a lot of the states, like in California, there are regulations on electric bikes. Remember, I don't really care about that crap. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. All I want to do is be able to go down the trails quietly, efficiently, and not have to worry about pedaling all the time. This thing is incredibly quick. It does have a little bit of a learning curve. It's one of those that can put you down pretty quickly. If you just jump on the throttle and you're like, let's say, pedal assist 5 for the most power, but it's pretty unique. As far as mounting the inverter, you can actually take this inverter and mount it on the bicycle here. There's a place, I mean, you could put this anywhere, but it'll actually fit within the frame, so you're carrying it like that. You can actually put the solar panel itself, you can actually put it on the back of the rack and then strap it on. I don't know if I would do that because this is not light. This is actually pretty heavy. You're looking at least, 10, 15 pounds on that. I don't have a scale, but that's what you're looking at on the solar array. But with the solar array, it's actually pretty cool. I'll actually spread it out here. Today wouldn't be a good day for charging anything, but it is pretty unique in that you can charge items and you do have a solar array here. So let's go ahead and take a little closer look at the controls. All right, very similar to a firearms review. This is just going to go from the back to the front. I'm going to make it very quickly before I start riding it. It does come with the plastic fenders. Now, some people don't like fenders because of clearance issues with mud and things like that, where it can lock your tires up. But if you're not looking for that type of riding, I think it's a great way, especially for an urban environment, to keep that spray off of you if it's been raining or anything like that going through puddles. Coming over here to the back, you do have this 450-pound rated bicycle, but you've got this rear rack right here that can hold a tremendous amount of weight. It is topped off with real wood with 6 screws. You can take those out to give you more options to be able to attach bungees or things like that. The seat, believe it or not, is actually comfortable. I'm not used to bigger seats like this, but it does make it comfortable for a long ride. It does have a pinch clamp here. My daughter was actually riding this. They actually wanted to ride it and said this would be really cool. Only problem is neither her or my wife can pick this bicycle up. It just weighs too much. They have a couple different configurations. If you don't want one with a cross tube or a drop tube here, they do have the open style where this is omitted. I actually wanted this on there because I think it gives it better rigidity. As far as the components, you do have, a decent handlebar. I mean, guys, this isn't meant for mountain bike racing. It's nothing like that. It is adjustable where you can adjust it. Now, this is a big complaint on this, is there's actually a screw inside of here, and if you don't tighten it, what'll happen is as you're riding it, your handlebars will drop down, especially if you take it off-road. So make sure that if you do order one of these, all of this is secure. It's actually happened to quite a few reviewers. It happened to me as well, but it's no big deal. I just pulled it back up and then took the Allen. As far as the controls here, you do have these little gel cups that are on the palms. It actually makes it nice when you're resting your palms on there. You do have a throttle controller here, so you don't have to actually pedal. If you want to use the pedal assist, you have 5 different levels. It starts at 0, which means it's not helping, and then 1 progressively gets more as you get to 5 as far as it assisting you with that motor. Now, with that electric motor, if you're sitting still and you start to pedal, if you're on 5, it's going to give you a surge of power. So you just need to be cautious of that, especially if you have someone younger on there, because these things are no joke. This thing will run 30 miles an hour all day long. On the left side, you have an on-off switch. You also have the up and down for your menu. There's also a menu where if you hold all 3, you'll have them turn on, and you can adjust top speed, things like that. A lot of different settings in there. And then you also have a headlight up front. Believe it or not, it actually works. It's not like, some of the best off-road lights out there with the big packs if you're doing racing or anything like that, but it'll get you by and you can see. It also has an integrated tail light, and it actually works whenever you hit either the brakes, and then you have your thumb throttle here. It also has a horn on here, although it's not really loud. It will get the job done. The horn is actually located here. and you guys can hear that. As far as the headlight, what I'll do is I'll just actually turn it this way so you guys can see this. Just tap it once and you guys can see that it actually is pretty bright for just getting you by. Now, you can truly get 60 to 80 miles on this bicycle off of a charge, depending on what power assist level or pedal assist level you're asking for. As far as the bicycle itself, it is made in China. Like most things, you just can't get around that. And unfortunately, it is what it is. As far as the shocks, you do have a preload adjuster on the left side here, and on the right side, you actually have a fork lockout. You can actually adjust it from soft all the way to locked out. As far as the controllers, they are Shimano. But other than that, let's go ahead and ride it on the trails, and I think you're going to be pretty impressed with how quick this thing is. I'm going to throw a GoPro on. I'm going to get on the trails. Maybe we'll do some shooting from it, so stick around.
All we have to do is press the button on the left. It's going to warm up and say hello. And then once we do that, it's not going to offer us any type of pedal assist. So you can see pedal assist right here. So now it's going to just ride like a regular bicycle. And it takes a little bit of effort to get it going. Now, as I go up, we're going to see the pedal assist on level 3. I can thumb throttle it, and for thumb throttle, 27, that's 28 with no pedaling. Now the problem is on pedal assist 5, it will actually help you too much. So on these leaves, it can actually make you spin when you don't want it to. Normally it doesn't squeak like that, but I think that's just because of the me leaving it out in the rain. No pedaling. Keep in mind, this is an 80-pound bicycle. Oh, there's the deer scrape. There's another deer scrape I saw right here a second ago. Oh, look at that one. That's a fresh one. That's a deer scrape, guys. And that's it. The Mokwheel Basalt.
All right, so in this case is the solar array. And you do have to know how to fold it back. You do have these stands here that will help prop it up. But this is actually bigger than you think it is. I think this measures about 8 feet or so. And so if you did have sun, which you could do, all right, so as you guys can see, you have a pretty large solar array there. It's about 8 feet long or so, and it will charge the bicycle. It just takes a while. But if you're at a campsite or something, you're camping, you have nothing else to do, and you've got full sun, it's a good way to charge the battery, because remember, you can use this battery to charge other items. All right, so there is actually a key for it, and that key is not for what you think. If you put the key in this side, what this does is it will release the battery so no one could steal the battery, I guess, or make it a little more difficult. Everything can be stolen. And then here is your battery pack. I'll make sure I don't drop my bike over. And that's it right there. So this thing's actually pretty heavy duty. I'll get you a weight on this in a few minutes, but like I said, I've kept it out in the rain just to see how it would do. And so far, no issues, no electrical gremlins or anything like that. So it actually does work. And I'm sure there's a tactical application where you could do this. Yeah, that would work. Now, after shooting all that brass, we got to make sure we clean it up. So I'm going to reach into my back pocket. Voila, Dillon tumbler. Let's see if we can get this Dillon tumbler to actually tumble brass. All right, so you're out in the middle of the woods. You definitely have to get some brass tumbled because we're going to have to reload it out here in the field. What we're going to do is remove the inverter here. And I'll show you some close-ups of this, but basically on this inverter, you have this 1,000-watt inverter It does have 110, and on the other side, on the face of it, you actually have a USB as well as some other type of outputs here. So what we're going to do is just take the power cable, and you have a couple different spots here on the frame itself. We're just going to choose this one. One's for charging. Once we plug that in, then we're going to hook up the inverter. It's starting to rain. I'm going to do this before my cameras and stuff get wet. All right, so now we are plugged in. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. And there we go. You guys can see the screen there, or at least I'll show you an up close of that. So from there, we're going to take our Dillon CV 2001 and we're going to plug it in. Turn the AC on. All right, now it's starting to rain, but what we've got is we've got power here. We've got 8 watts, 110 volts. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this tumbler to work. And guys, just so you know that there's nothing funky going on here. This comes straight from here, middle of the woods, into my inverter. And here we go. Let's click it. There it is. So you can power different items. We've got about half a battery right now. We're pulling 54 watts. Let's tumble some brass. Yeah, that's working. All right, so that definitely wasn't a normal X-Ring review. However, I do like this Mokwheel Basalt. I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to continue to have fun with it. Big shout out to those folks. I'm going to try to leave a link down below. I don't normally do any type of, Avant link or anything like that. Big shout out to the folks over at Mokwheel. Like I said, I've had no issues. And like I said, I have left it out in the rain. So hearing the squeaky brake is not that big of a deal to me. I wanted to see how it actually did. Make sure there were no electrical shorts or any type of rust like that. This is a lot of fun, but just keep in mind it is a very, very heavy bicycle, and it's not something you're just going to throw around or throw it in the back of your truck if your wife is smaller, or let's say you're a little weaker. I mean, getting the 80 pounds is kind of cumbersome the way it's distributed out. Either way, really, really fun review. I hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Can you tell I like all things electric? One wheel, baby. What we're gonna do is basically, if you wanted to dismount, oh sheesh. I'm gonna make sure I don't give you guys the plumber's crack or anything. AC is now on, and let's see if we have power out here in the middle of the field. Nope. Get it. There it goes. There we go.